Hi there, I'm Kathy Johnson. Welcome to Murder is a Game. I write and produce original mystery productions. You're going to see a sample of what I do. I hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you. On Thursday morning, the body of John Avoli, Executive Director for the Frontier Culture Museum, was found stabbed to death at his office. Staff members found his body when they arrived early on Thursday for work. The body was found carefully positioned on his back with a single stab wound to the chest. Whether by accident or design, the wound was a single stab that went directly through the heart, killing him almost instantly. I have been able to narrow the suspects down to the following: Jim McCluskey, editorial cartoonist for the News Leader; Kathy Lacey, owner of Kathy's Restaurant; Delegate Steve Landis; Scott Bruner, CEO of the Virginia Association of Realtors; and Jeff Fife, Executive Director of the Waynesboro YMCA. Ladies and gentlemen, one or more of these people is the murderer.
Fife did it.
I need your help to determine the murderer. I'll start with Mr. McCluskey. If you'd come forward, please. This cartoon was perhaps not so flattering.
In this particular case, yes, that's true.
So, what exactly did this cartoon depict?
Well, at this time, of course, I don't think it would be appropriate to discuss the content of the cartoon with him being deceased.
Well, since this is a murder investigation, it may actually have some bearing. So if you could describe the cartoon.
Well, since it's an editorial cartoonist's job to take politicians down a notch every once in a while, I felt perhaps that John had got a little bit of a big head about something and he needed to take it down a notch, yes.
Did you go to see Mr. Avoli or talk to him about the cartoon?
No.
In our investigation, we found your name. One of our investigators found it on a yellow tablet at his office. Any idea why that might have been?
I have no idea. I did not have any appointment to see John.
Perhaps call and talk to him.
I may have. Now look, I was really upset. I admit that I called him. He told me it was nothing personal. He loved my work. But with the fundraising like it is right now, he just couldn't have that kind of cartoon in the newspaper. It could hurt his reputation in the Frontier Culture Museum, and he asked them not to go to it.
So you think maybe he was just sort of doodling on this yellow pad when he was talking to you? Is that what you're thinking?
That would make sense because I do the same thing in my work, yeah.
All right, Mr. McCluskey, that'll be all for now. Thank you.
It didn't take very long.
Not if you answer my questions. Your name?
Kathy Lacey,
All right. And your occupation, please.
restaurateur.
You also like to take trips, don't you? Like to travel?
I take a few trips.
In fact, you traveled with Mr. Avoli on a few trips in the past, isn't that right?
Yeah, I did.
But not anything recent. Where did you go when you traveled with him before?
Well, when we went, now it was a group. It was a group that we went. The first group went to Germany, and the second time we went to Ireland.
But you haven't been back recently.
Inspector, you know the answer to these questions. Why do you keep asking me this stuff?
Because I'm trying to confirm information that I got, okay? Now then, have you traveled with Mr. Avoli recently? I believe that was my last question.
No.
And why is that?
Well, you mentioned the economy earlier. I didn't decide any money.
So it was purely a monetary decision.
Yes.
Had nothing to do with John Avoli himself?
Oh, no.
It's interesting because some of your friends told me they had some other things to say. Any thoughts on why they thought you wouldn't want to travel with Mr. Avoli?
No, not really.
So you didn't have any problems traveling with John?
Well, I love John. He was a nice man, but I I wasn't really comfortable around this group anymore, you know, there. You satisfied with that answer?
Well, we're getting close. Could you tell me why you weren't comfortable?
Well, in the last group we went, I thought it was just a little too attentive to me.
A little too attentive, you say?
Yeah, I wasn't comfortable. I think he was coming on a little bit.
So you think he was actually making a pass?
Well, I'm not sure, but he was awfully attentive to me.
What did your husband have to say about that?
Oh, I didn't mention Big Mike.
All right, you've seen how this works. If you would, please state your name and your occupation.
My name is R. Stephen Landis, and I'm the Community Relations Coordinator for DuPont Community Credit.
And you are also an elected delegate for this area, is that right?
It's my honor and pleasure to serve this area as a member of the House of Delegates.
Spoken like a true politician. So would you say the two of you were friends?
Yes, I would say John and I were friends. He's a great community, was a great community leader.
And as it happens, he was also a supporter of yours, isn't that right?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I mean, he donated money to your campaigns?
Well, yeah, I think he may have donated money at some point.
At some point. He is not, however, a current donor. Is that accurate?
Well, I'm not sure I know that. I have a treasurer that keeps track of what campaign contributions come in. I don't always know everybody and every person who's contributed to my campaign.
In fact, you talked to Mr. Avoli about his retirement, didn't you?
Well, John and I had conversations. I suggested that he may be thinking about retirement.
And if he were retired, you might be interested in taking his position at the Frontier Culture Museum.
If the public called for me to do that, I think I could lend my skills to that job. Yeah.
I think I've got the wrong person pegged as a politician.
I work for realtors.
Would please state your name and your occupation?
Jeffrey Fife, Executive Director of the Waynesboro Family YMCA.
And are you married, Mr. Fife? Have children, that sort of thing?
I am married for 17 years, and just as Steve and his lovely bride were married 17 years, anniversary is coming up right around the corner. 3 lovely children.
Don't suck up.
I'm a nonprofit director, that's what I do.
I understand that you and John Avoli had both applied for a particular, I think this was a federal grant or something, and he won and you didn't, is that right?
Correct, it happens, can't win them all.
I understand, though, you were pretty upset about this particular one in the application. Something about him applying for it after the deadline?
Yes, he used a little bit of an influence. I talked to him about these rebates from the Department of Mines, Minerals, and Energy. He went in after the fact, after the application, used some of his influence and put in an application, and I was annoyed.
You were annoyed, particularly when he got that grant or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I admit it. I mean, of course it upset me. What he did was wrong. It was unethical. I was very upset.
Listen, folks, it's tough being in the newspaper business, and we don't like to put up with a lot of stuff anymore. It's getting harder all the time, so you don't want to mess with newspaper people. Jim just couldn't take it. John had seen to it his editorial was not going to run the first time that's ever happened to him, and he had had enough in a moment of anger, stabbing with that dagger. So. Well, I hope you enjoyed Murder is a Game. This was just a small sample of what I do. If you're interested in seeing one of our mysteries, I hope you'll come. Check my schedule on the webpage, or contact me if you're interested in planning your own Murder is a Game.